afternoon. We're only hours away from the new year, and I can feel the anticipation, or dread, depending on your point of view, growing. I heard one guy say he already dreads the new year. He said, "The holidays aren't quite over, and already I'm about 90 days ahead on my calories and 90 days behind on my bills." Some of you can identify with him. Our calendar did not come from above. It was established by human minds. There's no real reason why one day on the calendar should bear more significance than any other day of the year. Yet, still, we invest the changing of the year with a great deal of meaning. It is a time of hope, of planning, of vision casting, to use a business buzzword. And of course, it is a time for resolutions, ready or not. It's time to set yourself on a course of self-improvement. I like a list of resolutions prepared by the Reverend Walter Shodell. He calls them 7 ups for the new year. No, this has nothing to do with a soft drink. The 7 ups fall under the heading of attitudes and actions. The first is wake up. Begin the day with the Lord. It is His day. Rejoice in it. The second, dress up. Put on a smile. It improves your looks. It says something about your attitude. The third, shut up. Watch your tongue. Don't gossip. Say nice things. Learn to listen. The fourth, stand up. Take a stand for what you believe. Resist evil. Do good. 5, look up. Open your eyes to the Lord. After all, He is your only Savior. 6, reach up. Spend time in prayer with your adorations, confessions, thanksgivings, and supplications to the Lord. And finally, lift up. Be available to help those in need, serving, supporting, and sharing. If you're going to make New Year's resolutions this year, let me suggest Reverend Shodell's list. Why do we bother to make New Year's resolutions in the first place? Why do we feel the need each January 1 to set new goals? Maybe it's because resolutions help us to identify our priorities. They answer the question, how do I want to invest my time, my energy, my money, and my talents in this new year? The new year reminds us that time is passing. It is up to each of us to maximize the potential of every moment. Someone wrote some thought-provoking words on the meaning of time. To realize the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth to a premature baby. To realize the value of 1 week, ask the editor of a weekly newspaper. To realize the value of 1 hour, ask the lovers who are waiting to meet. To realize the value of 1 minute, ask the person who missed the train. To realize the value of 1 second, ask the person who just avoided an accident. To realize the value of 1 millisecond, ask the person who won a silver medal in the Olympics. The coming of the new year forces us to face the question, what will be my priorities this year? Now, that's a question Simeon, the central figure in today's Bible passage, didn't have to ask himself. His New Year's resolution was the same every year, to wait for the Messiah. Years ago, author J.C. Ryle wrote these words, and please feel free to substitute the word woman where you feel it is appropriate. A zealous man in religion, writes Ryle, is preeminently a man of one thing. He only sees one thing. He cares for one thing. He lives for one thing. He is swallowed up in one thing. And that one thing is to please God, wherever he lives, or whether he dies, whether he has health, or whether he has sickness, whether he is rich, or whether he is poor. For all this zealous man cares nothing at all. He lives for one thing, and that one thing is to please God and to advance God's glory. If he is consumed in the very burning, he cares not for it. He is content. He feels that, like a lamp, he is made to burn. And if consumed in burning, he has but done the work for which God appointed him. Now, Simeon lived for one thing. This was his passion to greet the coming Messiah. In the Hollywood movie, The Tin Cup, Golf pro Roy McAvoy calls it the defining moment. McAvoy, played by actor Kevin Costner, is a happy-go-lucky, underachieving golf pro who finds himself miraculously playing in the U.S. Open. Tied for the lead on the final day of the tournament, he faces a critical decision on a very difficult shot on the last hole. Take a big risk, go for the green and win, or play it safe. Make par and force a playoff. Risk it all, or play safe. This is a defining event for Roy. In fact, Roy uses his favorite expression to sum up the situation. Define the moment, or the moment defines you. Roy is a risk taker. He always has been. Probably he always will be. Sometimes he has won, sometimes he has lost, sometimes badly. But he spurns the idea of playing it safe. And this time is no exception. He goes for the green. This is who he is. He can do no other and be true to himself. Simeon was zealous only for one thing, only one purpose in life, only one focus in prayer. His first thought upon rising and his last thought upon lying down was, when will I see God? In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, the Lord tells his people, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Many centuries later, Jesus would echo the sentiment when he said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Our Bible passage tells us that Simeon was a man with a pure heart. He had been blessed with a special assurance from the Holy Spirit, and he would not die before he had seen the coming Messiah. Many older people face the future with anxiety. They fear a future of failing health, shrinking finances, social isolation. Some people reach their senior years only to face a void of meaninglessness. Their self-imposed goals have been met. Their social ascribed roles no longer fit. Their life dwindles down to a period of anxious waiting. This was not the case with Simeon because of the Holy Spirit's promise to him, he could face the future with hope and with joy. Composer Oscar Hammerstein once claimed, I can't write anything without hope in it. Remember these lyrics from the musical Oklahoma. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a glorious feeling. Everything's going my way. Aren't you glad I didn't sing? In his show South Pacific, one of the songs contains these words. I'm stuck like a dope with a thing called hope, and I can't get it out of my heart. I'm really glad I didn't sing that one. I think that was Simeon's theme song. I'm stuck like a dope with a thing called hope, and I can't get it out of my heart. Hope for what? Hope that he would see the Lord's power and glory and mercy in the flesh. Hope that he would see God's ultimate plan for his chosen people. And thus the stage is set for Simeon's defining moment. He's in the courtyard of the temple, and he spies a humble young couple. There was nothing distinguishing about this couple except for the squirming baby in their arms. There was nothing about the baby that we know of that distinguished it from other babies. But somehow, old Simeon knows this is the one he has been awaiting. He walks up to the poor couple, takes their squirming baby boy from their arms, and announces that he has finally seen the Christ. Listen to Simeon's declaration. Sovereign Lord, as you have promised, you may now dismiss your servant in peace. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all people, a light for revelation to the Gentiles and glory to your people Israel. You may now dismiss your servant in peace. Have you ever thought about what Simeon's life was like after he saw Jesus? The Bible doesn't give us any details. For all we know, Simeon may have died a happy man that very afternoon. Or he may have lived for a few more years. What was his life after that? He had seen the Lord's promise of salvation. He had found perfect peace. There was certainly no more anxiety in Simeon's future. He had seen Jesus. As John Donne so perfectly put it, I shall not live till I see God, and when I have seen him, I shall never die. There is a Hebrew word for the emotion Simeon felt on that day. According to Pastor Lloyd John, Ogilvy, the Hebrew word shalom carries both the meaning of peace and salvation. In a tiny baby Jesus, Simeon found shalom. His life was complete. An encounter with Jesus will do that. And here's the good news. You and I have the shalom that changed Simeon's life 2,000 years ago. You and I can also find peace and salvation. Pastor Tom Rakow was making his way home from the hospital. He was driving over snowy, slippery roads when he came across a car stalled in a snowbank. Spotting a man in the passenger seat, Pastor Tom pulled over to help. The man's name was John, and he was suffering from a cancer in his chest. Tom noticed that John was listening to a religious program on his radio, and he felt compelled to ask him if he knew Jesus as his Savior. John turned to look at Tom and said, "I've been trying to find God, but I don't know how." So Tom explained how Christ came into the world to seek and to save that which was lost. And he invited John to allow Christ to take residence in his heart. And John did. Afterwards, he remarked to Tom, "I've been waiting for you for a long time." A month later, Tom was invited to John's funeral. There he learned that John had lost his voice soon after their encounter on the snowy road. Although many of his family had been praying that he would come to know Jesus, John had been unable to tell them of his experience. And so Pastor Tom Rakow was able to tell John's family that their prayers had been answered. Before his death, John had come to know the Master. "Sovereign Lord," prayed Simeon, "as you have promised, you may now dismiss your servant in peace. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all people, a light for revelation to the Gentiles and glory to your people Israel." Do you want to face the new year with shalom, peace, and salvation? Before we leave the Christmas season behind, you are invited to look into the face of the Christ child one last time and to see there your hope for this year and every year. May this be your defining moment when you experience the coming of the Lord. Amen. What do you like? What do you not like? What do you want to keep? What do you want to get rid of? Let's talk about the Simeon moment.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
What it meant when it said that she was of a great age, having lived with her husband 7 years after her marriage. So does that mean that they didn't divorce? So it was. What is after she lived with her husband after her marriage?
It's a good question. I saw the same thing and I don't know.
That was an interesting. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
Let's look it up.
Yeah.
Go look it up for me and see if you can figure, or look it up there and see if you can figure something out. I don't know exactly, and I probably should be more prepared for that. No, I don't know.
What was the passage and all that one more time?
Give me the passage, please.
Hand me the program if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's a good question. And we'll figure that out. We'll learn together.
It's underlined there.
I wish I could give you the answers all the time and just be the book of information, the book of knowledge over here, but I don't know all the answers either.
Yeah.
No matter how much training you go through and how many you don't retrain, we don't retain it.
Maybe after the wedding. I mean, maybe that's what they need to say. I
don't know what exactly, because they talk about that after he died. She lived to the ripe old age of 85. 85 is pretty old back then.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about people living to 300. So it's it's all kind of relative, I guess, to who's speaking.
Right.
All right. While he's looking that up, though, we can go ahead and talk about some other stuff.
The other translations are her husband died when they had been married only 7 years.
Okay.
She was advanced in years, having lived with her husband 7 years from when she was a virgin.
Right. So that's what it's saying. He lived 7 years. They were married 7 years. He died, and she was a widow, and lived until the ripe old age of 85.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. That's what the other translations are showing. So. For it being a longer sermon, it was really really good. I've never heard of
Did you
Simeon.
waver from it?
I never heard of Simeon before.
There's a lot of people you find in the Bible that either you forget or you just don't remember because they're not highlighted as many as some are.
Or you don't see the end of their life or something like that.
They don't talk about them all that much. It's kind of they come and go. So they enter into the story, they leave the story. Like we do in each other's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see that person again later on. Oh yeah, how you doing?
The 7 points in your sermon was
The 7 points. What do you think about that?
that was it fits. I partially see why you picked it.
How many of y'all in the past, literally, how many of y'all in the past have made New Year's resolutions?
Not really.
Not you. Have you ever done it? No.
Yeah.
Have you? How many of y'all in the past have kept your New Year's resolutions throughout the year?
One.
Have you?
Yes.
Do you mind telling us which one it was?
To be a better friend.
Okay. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Actually start investing a little bit more time spending with my friends, to actually be present.
It is a really good one.
It's a good one. In other words, be more Christ-like.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about this. That's a good way to start, I think. I think that's a good place to begin. Thank you, Gavin. Two. 7 Ups. Easy way to remember it. 7 Ups. Wake up. That's the first thing we do, right? Wake up. Hopefully we've been to bed. Wake up. Begin the day with the Lord. It is His day. Rejoice in it. It's not your day.
Every day's His
It's
day.
not about you. Dress up. Put on a smile. Gavin, you are so lovely at times, and so over the top, and so flamboyant that it's almost nauseating.
Oh, thank you.
But on the other end of the spectrum, when you're not, you are so sullen, so depressed, so
Downtrodden.
Melancholy?
not even melancholy, much less than that, just downright sad. That it's nauseating.
Yeah. That is yeah.
Not even sad at all. Though.
It's very
The definition of bipolar.
because that is almost polar opposites sometimes.
Smile, even when it doesn't feel like it.
It feels silly to do that kind of stuff.
It
Like
does.
he was saying, look in the mirror. That it feels silly, but
I talked about looking in the mirror and looking yourself in the eyes and asking yourself. This is where I ended the service today. Asking yourself, how can I be more Christ-like? How can I be more of a man or woman for others? How can I do that? And I mean it. I mean, really do this. I mean, seriously, guys, do it. I had an incident, a counseling session with a young man not too long ago. And we were sitting talking, and we were just getting nowhere. It was just, he was just giving me the roundabout story. Everybody else's fault. There's nothing, no responsibility, no nothing. I can't take responsibility for my actions. It's not me. It's somebody else. Somebody else made me do it. And I basically grabbed him by the ear and took him to the mirror. And I put my hand behind his head, and I held his head about 6 inches from that mirror. And I said, you need to learn who is responsible for your life, what you're responsible for, and you need to learn to forgive yourself. Because the only reason you're blaming everybody else is because you're so ashamed of the fact that it's you that caused the problem. And I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to look yourself in the eye, and I want you to tell yourself, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And I made him say it probably about 100 times, just holding his head there, until he just started bawling and let it go. These things that had held him down for years and held him from being anybody and held him from allowing himself to experience any kind of good in his life. Just complete self-sabotage all the time. For me, it was even a strong moment, to say the least. I Yeah, he had me in tears at the end of it as well, which is okay. So when I say that, I mean it. Go look at yourself in the mirror, and you know you better than anybody else. You know the real you. No matter what kind of face you put on to the public, you know you. You know your sins. You know you're good. You know your intentions. Even though people can say what they want to say about you. People say a lot of things about me, right? And about my ministry. That's okay. Even Jesus Christ had his naysayers, right? That's okay. Without the naysayers, we can't have those who praise us. Not that I need praise. I don't need praise for this.
Well, like I said a few weeks ago, you have to have the negative with the positive.
That's what I mean. Without those giving us the negative feedback, what you're going to have when you do something good in your life, you're going to have people that are jealous. You're going to have people that are envious. You're going to have people who are going to try and bring you down because they think it makes them feel better. Well, that's too bad. Pray for them. But don't give in. Don't get angry. Don't let them get you riled up and say things you don't need to say, don't necessarily mean. Okay.
That goes both ways.
Oh, it does. Oh, it does 100%. The hard part is telling the other person that, because they're at a point in their life where they're obviously so distracted and so
obsessed with other people.
well, unfocused on their own lives.
Yeah.
Unfocused. If you're not focused on you, what the hell are you doing? You can't change other people. You cannot change somebody else. They have to change.
You beat a horse to water.
You can help them. You can, once they decide to make that change, you can help them to know the right decisions, or to help them, you just give them a choice.
Yeah.
And say, look, this is what I did, or this is what I've heard, or this is the way I would do it. So, all right, dress up, put on a smile. So, put on a smile. That's hard for me too. It is. I mean, I go through the doldrums, the same stuff every day. I get up here every Sunday and I do the service, and there are times when I don't necessarily feel real all into it. If I didn't get up here and give it my all, at least put what I can into it. I mean, I always feel better when I do, but if I didn't do that, y'all would feel that. Y'all would feel that it wasn't good this week. It just seemed a little off.
That could cause a domino effect.
It
for
can.
the whole week.
Absolutely. For everybody. And I don't want to be responsible for that. Third is shut up. How many times have I told y'all that? Shut up!
That's why you take the 7.
Watch your tongue. Isn't that right, Tim? Watch your tongue. How many dollars today? $8 today?
Great donations to the church.
Don't gossip. Now look, guys. I know we love to gossip. I know it. Why do we gossip?
We know something someone else doesn't.
To vent,
No, I'm not venting. Gossiping.
Well, that would be,
Different. Gossiping. I'm talking about you.
If you're saying,
He did this and he did that. You know what he did? And he went over there and did this and that and the other. And he. And
if you're talking about something that someone else did to you, then that could be.
It could be
gossip
venting.
too,
Yeah.
You know?
Could be. That's we gossip normally because
we feel like we have important information or interesting information, and we think others might want to hear it, and we want them to enjoy what we say. And so we want to
no matter what detriment we cause that other person.
Well, you're not necessarily thinking about.
No, you're not thinking.
Hopefully you're not. And
what are you supposed to be thinking about?
Bettering yourself. And
yourself.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about the other person? Why are you worried about that other person? By gossiping, you take that spotlight off of you and you put it over there, because you don't want them to see what you do. You take that spotlight and put it over there because you don't want them to see your transgressions,
right,
your mistakes, your blunders, right? So it's easy to kind of say, hey, he was a lot worse than I was, or God, I hope they don't find out about this. Let's talk about this over here. Gossiping is not a good thing. It's taking the focus off of you, which is what you're supposed to be focusing on. Okay? Learn to listen. Close your mouth, clear your mind, and listen. I say that when we pray. Is that the only time we can use that? No. Close your mouth, clear your mind, and listen. Don't sit there and think and think and think about what you know that person's going to say next. Don't sit there and think and think and think about what you're going to say in response to what they're saying next. You don't know what God's going to say to you in prayer. You don't. God surprises people all the time. He surprises the hell out of me. A lot of times. So don't assume, because what my grandfather always said about assuming is it makes an ass out of you and me. Does anybody know what that means? A-S-S, spell assume. A-S-S-U-M-E, assume. That word should not even be in your vocabulary. Listen. That's probably one of the most important messages today. Listen. You can't learn anything if your mouth's going. Because you're just talking. This isn't, nothing's coming in. Everything's going out. Stand up. Take a stand for what you believe. Do y'all do it? Do you do it? Do you do it?
Yes.
Actively.
Not as much as I should.
You're right, none of us do as much as we should.
Or some people might do a little bit too much on certain subjects.
Some people get on their soapbox. I'm guilty of it.
Me too.
It's hard for me not to do so. You know, in the field that I'm in, in the field of work that I'm in, I'm pretty much always on a soapbox, you know? Resist evil. How many of you believe evil exists in the world today? Literally, evil exists in the world today. How many of you believe that?
We have a...
By show of hands. 2 of us, 3 of us, 4 of us. Seriously, I mean, but some people don't. But evil, but literal evil. How many of you have seen it? Have you? Tell me about it. What'd you see?
Well, I mean, you know,
What did you see?
well, I mean, it was, I don't know if you'd call it, I don't know if you call it evil, but I mean, it was,
I'm making you think about it a little bit, aren't I?
it was the owner of the dog that
What did that person do?
They watched me.
Right, they didn't do anything to help you.
They watched the attack.
That's pretty damn evil.
Well,
So you got attacked by a dog as a child, right?
Oh,
A dog attacked him. I mean, literally mauled him. And the owner stood there and watched.
Well, you know, whatever.
yeah.
And that it also goes with this stand up, right?
Yeah.
If somebody else is around there seeing that happen, what do? You better get in there and do something.
Even if you're the only one in a crowd.
Yeah.
You better try and save that boy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's going to make it unpopular, if it's
I
gonna
don't care.
make
Yeah, that's right. And most of the time it will.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially back in school. They went back in school when all the popular kids were around and they wanted to do this. They wanted to go smoke, or they wanted to go smoke some weed, or they wanted to skip school, right? And you were the one that said no.
You're the loser.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? Stick in the bug.
Right.
You're lame. All these other words they called you.
Or standing up for the kid that's getting bullied or something.
Stand up for that kid. But you know what? That still happens though, not in school. It happens every day all over this world.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. Like anytime there's a social revolution that comes, the first who stand in usually are the ones who were the most beaten down. Unfortunately.
Think about the Rosa Parks.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the people at.
First people who got AIDS is a good way to look at it.
Kind of.
But they had to stand up for themselves at the same time as well.
It's a little different there because it is, but it isn't. I mean, it's similar.
It's a mixed bag on that.
What about
the people that helped the Holocaust survivors? Or maybe the people that helped hide.
Yeah, the people that hit them.
I mean,
they were standing up. They put their whole family in jeopardy for these Jews, or these Catholics, or these gay people. What about gay people? What about that? What was the first the social revolution there? What was the beginning?
The first person to throw the first stone at a Stonewall was a black transgendered person.
Drag queen. A black drag queen.
The first person killed in the Civil War was a black man on the north side.
Correct. Irony, isn't it? You're right. We got to stand up. There was a group in the 80s and the 90s called ACT UP, and they were talking about the AIDS crisis. They were trying to get medicine for these people.
Just medicine.
They had people on. They had the medicine in the vault, and they put them on a waiting list because they didn't want to give it out too quickly.
They didn't fully test it, and they took 6 years to do.
Give me a break! You had to sit on a waiting list until somebody died.
And you were probably going to die before that.
To get HIV medication. I look back at that now and I go, are you kidding me?
And you were probably in the hospice with that person.
We buried 1, 2 people a day sometimes. And the medicine's sitting there waiting to help them. Stand up. Somebody did.
A bunch of people did.
Somebody did. They stood up and they got that ban lifted. They got on the phones and they said, we're lifting the ban on AZT. Come in and get your medicine. And they saved lives. Countless numbers of lives.
Because they did way more than that, too. They revolutionized...
The John Thomases in Dallas, of all people. John Thomas was a pioneer. The Thibodeaux.
Nelson Thibodeau Clinic?
Well, the Thibodeau Clinic is named after him, yes. They're named that for a reason.
Yeah.
They've earned that. John Thomas has, I believe, he was there for the dedication of the bell tower at Cathedral of Hope. He broke ground for it. I mean, he was an amazing man. Died not too many years ago of HIV, of complications due to AIDS. But it lasted a long time. It saved a lot of people's lives, and it was the voice of a lot of people that couldn't speak for themselves.
There were lots.
So you have to shut up at times.
But you gotta be
listen.
loud. But you gotta be loud sometimes, too.
But sometimes you gotta stand up. And standing up doesn't necessarily mean being loud. It can at times.
Yeah.
But you gotta know the right place and the right time for everything. So when you stand up, there are sit-ins all the time. You sit down, and it's just, it's a silent protest.
Or you sing.
And that can be more profound than any yelling and screaming and boisterous crowd ever. But put 1 million people sitting down at the same time saying nothing.
Well,
It's the loudest silence you will ever hear.
The saying, kill them with kindness.
You know, don't lower yourselves to below. I mean, we still have to follow those commandments and above. We still have to be what God tells us to be. Doesn't mean we can go in the trenches and play that muck with them. We still have to be above that.
There's always a better way.
And you know what? There's an easier way, and that's usually down there, playing dirty. Well, they're gonna get ahead a little bit, but it comes back. It comes back on them. You know, I don't wish bad on anybody, but like I've always said, the universe will always equal itself. Always equal itself. Okay.
Universal law.
Look up. How many times have we walked down the street with our eye down, looking down like this, walking down the street, looking at the sidewalk?
Or you could even be looking up and it'd just be tunnel vision.
Look up. Open your eyes to the Lord. After all, He is your only Savior. So if you're not looking at Him, well, let's just leave it at that. Reach up. Reach up. We do this at the end of our service, and we after communion. Spend time in prayer with your adorations, confessions, thanksgivings, and supplications to the Lord. How many of you pray every day?
I used to, not anymore.
Why not?
I think I've fallen out of practice.
Why?
I don't know.
What if he fell out of practice of watching over you?
I got it wrong.
Gentlemen, I teach this as a cornerstone of our church. It's so important. Because a church without prayer is a church without God. I don't mean that He abandoned us. I mean we abandoned Him. He wants to hear from you. He didn't create us to be silent. He wants to talk to you. He didn't create us to be deaf. He works through us. And he can't do that very well if you're not listening and you're not asking him what to do and you're not praying. I'm going to ask you to do something that I normally wouldn't ask because I don't normally get into people's business like this. But I want you to all think about possibly making a New Year's resolution to agree to at least, I'm like what you gotta say every day. I'm not even gonna say every day. 3 times a week, spend at least 10 minutes 3 times a week in prayer. And what I mean by that is you get to a quiet place. I don't care if you have to go in the closet and close the door. Quiet place where you can clear your mind, you can shut your mouth, you can open your heart, you can pray, you can talk to God and listen in return. I'm asking you all if you'll make that commitment. You don't have to say yes or no now, but it would mean a lot to me if y'all would make that commitment. I pray every day. Every day. I find that I can pretty much tune out just about anything. So it doesn't matter if the TV's on, the dogs are barking, whatever. I can do that. I probably should take more time to actually make it silent. I probably hear a lot better. But once you realize once that happens and you start to open your heart and your soul and your mind to God, it becomes second nature. So that when he wants to speak to you, you don't have to be listening necessarily. You just hear him. You know, he can tap you on the shoulder. You don't have to be the one going to him and saying, hey, I'm here now, let's talk. Let's call a meeting. He can do it anytime. Because that's important. And that's, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because that's an amazing feeling when God can tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, let me tell you something.
Little light bulb.
Instead of having to just go and take him waiting for you to come to him. And he waits. And if you're not praying, he's been waiting. He might have a lot to say this time. So be ready. I'm serious, guys. Listen. You think I'm crazy about this. I know y'all do. I know you don't get it. Because I look in your eyes and I see y'all going, oh, dude. Yeah, okay. We'll agree with just let's just move on. It's true. It really is true. If you believe in God, you have to believe that God has a voice. Okay? So why wouldn't he use it to speak to you? You just have to open your heart and mind and your soul and listen to it. That's it. Oh. My life changed when I decided to stop shutting him out. And I decided just to listen. And now it's, I always kind of got one ear. Just listening. God is an amazing, amazing creator. Lift up. Lift up. Be available to help those in need, serving, supporting, and sharing. Being a man or woman for others. Another cornerstone of our church. How many of y'all looked at the website in the last 3 weeks? Besides you, because we were over it last night. There's something new on the website.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty, yeah, I'll put it up here. Just bring up the front page.
Yep.
It's pretty important because it's of its prominence on the page. Okay. So here goes our website. Let me make it full screen too, please. As you can see, I know you haven't noticed this because you haven't been on there, but there's my cute little ad that I did for the New Year's party tonight. Alright? So there's that. So that's kind of new. It does kind of cut off a word now and then, but that's alright. It gets the idea across. It's not perfect. Why don't you just point it out to him? Hell. Where is it?
Excuse me.
Where's the newness? What's different?
Well, the ad.
The ad's different. Okay, that's one thing. That's not what we're talking about.
That's as close as you gonna get.
All inclusive communion.
Nope.
Do you want me to keep
No, just keep it right there.
All right.
I want to see if these guys can get it.
That's all the hints you gonna get.
I can't tell the wording, but anyway, I mean, I don't.
Men and women for others.
That's not new. That's been there for months.
Oh, yeah.
Very et mulieres pro alis.
No.
I mean, some new Latin phrase shows up on my logo. I think I'm going to notice it. Veri et mulieris pro aliis. What does it mean?
I have no idea.
Place or is it a place where unconditional love changes lives?
No.
All right.
Because it says changing all the way down there all the time. So that's not it.
It's
It has to do with this.
No, I can't read that.
Men and women for others.
Oh, okay.
Time to get some glasses. And you're driving. And you can't see that. Men and women for, it's a Latin phrase which means veri et mulieris pro aliis. Men and women for others. Okay. So, why is that so important? Why do I always harp on that? Why is it now part of our logo?
Besides serving God, well,
Well-
in line with serving God, it's,
Come back over here.
you're supposed to help your fellow man.
Well, aren't you serving God by helping others?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we all, that's what you do the least to me, you also do to me? At least of these, you also do to me, right?
We're all-
Isn't what Jesus Christ said?
We're all brothers and sisters
That which
under
you
under
do least
Jesus.
Of me, these of my creations.
Right.
You will also do to me.
Right, that's correct.
We're all brothers and sisters under Jesus.
We are. Main one first. So, step up. Serving, supporting, and sharing. Serving, supporting, and sharing. I mean it. Guys, we're lucky. I know that we all have our problems.
But there's so much more that we've done.
And the lack of money is part of that. Right? And I know I'm always asking for, why aren't you putting money in the play? Well, I've got a job to do too. And unfortunately that's part of the job. But that's not the only thing we can do.
Best thing I asked.
Gavin has stepped up and made a promise to the church. I'm not going to go into all the details of it, but it's going to make it to where we can move.
It's a huge, huge step.
So now we all don't bring somebody to church, including you. You're letting me down, but you're also letting Gavin down, and you're letting yourselves down. We've got to get some more people in here. This is getting ridiculous. I mean, I think you enjoy it. I think you do. I think you get something from what we do every Sunday. So why wouldn't you want to share that with people? I'm not some big ugly ogre. Yet.
Take out them teeth and you get
Take out those teeth. Yeah, let me tell you something.
Get a step closer.
The dog didn't recognize me. He could growl at me. He's crazy. That beer face is bad. Let me tell you something.
When that bottom jaw gets stuck out.
I already got that witch's chin like my mother. And you take those bottom teeth out. And,
Very pretty.
yes, indeed. Bella's name when I first got her was going to be named Precious. That was going to be her name, Precious.
Oh my
right?
Lord.
Well, I had to change that. I had to change that because it was before I had all my dental work done, and it came out Precious. Precious. It didn't work, so she became Bella. It was just easier to say.
Wow.
Precious. Step up. Stand up. Okay. So what are they again? Wake up. Dress up. Shut up. Stand up. Look up. Reach up. Lift up. Is that 7? Yep. Pretty smart guy. I like those. I think we may do a sign of those.
Hey, we could almost do an exercise with those.
No, I'm not even sure about all that.
It'll be a Sunday morning wake-up exercise.
Yeah. What I'll do, let's do it after service. After the service is over, I'll make sure you get a copy of it. I know you were taking notes on too. If you'd like a copy of it as well, I'll make you a copy.
We could post them around.
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'll make a new poster with it, and we'll post it up. Since y'all like it, we'll make a new poster and put it up. Well, yeah, we could do that. Like we have over the door.
Because that way, you everywhere you turn, you can see it.
Like we have over the door. Do something amazing. You ever notice that over the door? I put that there so y'all see that every time you leave this place. Get out there and do something amazing. Because I believe in you. You've never seen it before, have you?
It should.
Have you ever seen it, Gavin? Look above the door.
It was there. Oh, there you go.
Do something amazing. You all can do it. This house is starting to creep a little bit in this cold weather. I feel the cold coming in now.
Yeah.
It's getting colder. All right. So.
It was frost. What is that called? Not sleeting, but.
Oh, was it starting to get kind of nasty out there?
It was snow drizzles, snow flurries. It was still pretty. It was not yet nasty. It wasn't bad enough to coat the window yet.
It's gorgeous.
Took me 10 minutes before I could pull out the driveway earlier though.
Why?
Because all the ice that was stuck on the windshield.
Oh, yeah.
I was not about to get out there and try to scrape that stuff off, I can tell you that much.
What about Simeon?
That was crazy to think of. That's all his.
That was his life. You know, a lot of monks and priests that basically their life is one thing, or one particular aspect of life. Like some of the cloistered nuns and whatnot, all they do is pray. They pray for people.
And that's just so hard to wrap your mind around.
Oh, it's
at
a
all.
huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
Imagine spending your entire life cloistered. You know what cloistered means? Cloistered means you do not see the outside world. The outside world does not see you. You are behind walls. Okay, for the rest of your life. The only other people you see are going to be other nuns there, and maybe you'll have a priest come in and probably say mass for you. Okay, what they do every waking hour that they have, they don't watch TV. They don't really do anything for themselves. They pray. And Patsy talks to the Carmelites all the time. Whenever we have a problem, and there's somebody sick or somebody's died or whatever. In fact, when she dies, she wants a donation to go to the Carmelites. She calls the Carmelites. She calls them, and they have a telephone. And they don't hug on it. They don't call out.
Yeah.
But you can call in, and they'll pick up. Hello. And she'll say, "This is Pat Barton, Pat McCool Barton." She goes, "Oh, hi Pat, how are you?" And they know her very well. Everything okay? And she'll say, "Well, I need you to pray for so and so and so." And if they do, they go pray for them. They don't ask for anything, although we send donations when we can to help them in their mission.
That's such an amazing thing.
An amazing life to give up yourself, give up your entire life for that. But it's important, don't you think? Y'all are praying for yourselves. Y'all are praying for other people. Somebody has to. God knows everything, but it doesn't mean he has to. He still wants you to make a decision. He still wants to know that you want that. He still wants to hear you say it. So when we don't say it for ourselves, sometimes the Carmelites do. Right?
It is really crazy to think about, just to really think about that level of devotion.
And of course, it's sad to see that it's a dying breed. It's a dying career. All of the, not just the Catholics, all of the ministries are dwindling.
The entirety of that level of devotion to anything at this point. It's not just religion.
And that's not necessarily just because of that. I mean, there's other reasons also involved in that. I mean, there's outdated rules and outdated sanctions and just things that are ridiculous that they require of people. And I don't blame a lot of people for not wanting to go into that field of work.
It's hard.
Which is why we have our own church. Not because we're trying to be anarchists or anything. We're trying to do what we feel is right.
And give someone who doesn't feel that they've got a place somewhere else a place.
Well, they do that there. They do that to a point. Some of them are so. Some of the rules they have are rather exclusive. They say no, you can't. Well, you know what? I never heard the words come out of Jesus Christ's mouth. No, you can't. Ever.
I mean, he bathed other people's feet for his sake.
Well, they do that too in the Catholic Church, but as a symbol.
But exactly, think about a person.
We do
choosing to wash someone's feet.
We do it here. That is another symbol. Would you remember what Jesus Christ did? Jesus Christ was just trying to say, look, I'm not any higher than you. I'm not. Yes, but I'm just like you. I am you. Do you see this? I mean, I am a human being.
My feet get just as dirty as yours do.
Right. Yet I choose it as being the Son of God. And maybe it was easier that way. I don't know. Maybe because he's afraid of God spanking her. I don't know what it was.
That would hurt.
Well, maybe we ought to be afraid of God spanking too.
Yeah.
But because we are His children. But being the Son of God, maybe he I don't know. Maybe it was easier. But here He is saying, I'm without sin. Imagine going one day without making a mistake or without sinning. Jesus got angry. He didn't say it was perfect. But anger is not necessarily a sin.
Did Jesus ever flip a table?
He did. In the temple. In the temple, no less. Yes. Oh yeah. He went in the temple, and they were selling cattle and as sacred animals, and selling all the tax collectors were there. It was all the money and this and that. This is temple.
Yeah.
This is my Father's house.
I didn't know.
So what did he do?
Like that.
Yeah. He threw a fit.
That's anger not in sin, though. That's anger in
was
showing these people that this is wrong.
Right. It also was fulfilling the prophecies, because then brought more of that attention of those people who
were doing the
destined to us, for call us, because we're the ones that did put him to death. Those people that were destined to put him to death did at that point. you know, Jesus could have laid low. You know, at the end there, he could have gone and not performed the miracle on Lazarus. Remember, he brought Lazarus back from the dead. That was just before Palm Sunday. That was just before he went into the city and was
crucified.
Found that they found him, and he could have not gone to that garden and prayed.
He could have had.
He could have done, he could have gone where he wanted to, but he had a job to do, and he knew it. Was he scared? I think so. I think he shows that even at the end when he says, you know, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" What does that mean? Why have you forsaken me?
Given me up,
why have you forgotten?
Betrayed me.
Why have you forgotten about me?
That is such a.
How could you let me go through this pain? Think about that. Jesus Christ cried to his Father. That unimaginable pain that he must have gone through for us.
For Jesus to have thought his Father forsaken him.
Let me go get my coffee real quick.
And you know he knew, he had to have known that there was going to be a great amount of pain.
He knew, but he did it anyway.
And he's young.
He did it anyway.
Heck, even watching The Passions of the Christ, I don't get it as much as this.
Have I been watching them? What do you mean by
No, the movie, The Passions of the Christ.
I've seen the movie, The Passions of the Christ. It's a rather controversial movie.
Watching that, just thinking about it now is...
Well, you gotta think about this. I mean, look, it wasn't all nice and clean and pretty. Like a lot of people, like, I mean, they portray it that way. This was a...
It was gross back
then. It was a beating. I mean, I hate to get into this now because it's really, I mean, but it's important all year round. But, you know, it was disgusting what they did. It was...
A crown of thorns. I mean...
A crown of thorns. They took sour wine to quench his thirst on his parched, swollen, cracked lips. Sour wine. He carried the cross and fell, and they kicked him and made him get up again. There was no choice at that point. You were going to die. And he knew it. But he kept walking to his death. He went there. We forget this every day. We forget that story. And I want you to get the image in your head. Because it wasn't all clean and pretty like sometimes people portray it. It wasn't even the nativity scene where he was born into. He was born into a place where there was shit and old feed and mold and cold and whatever it was.
They didn't keep that place clean.
No, it's a stable. You want to raise a baby in that stench? Come on. Think about today. Hell, we're afraid to touch a baby without putting sanitizer on our hands first. But it wasn't too good for Jesus Christ. The point is, he's trying to tell us that, look, y'all have it a lot better than I did, right? Why can't y'all get it together? I did it. Why can't we be more Christ-like? We have to strive to do this every day. And if you're not doing it, you're doing it wrong. If you're not doing it, you're doing it wrong. If you're not being more Christ-like every day, you're doing it wrong. Do you hear me?
If you're not being more Christ-like every day, you're doing it wrong.
That's correct. What are you doing?
Look at this.
Okay, come sit down, please. Come sit down, please. Come sit down outside.
Okay.
Come sit down, please. You're focusing on something that's not about you, right? Yeah. Focus on you. So, Simeon sees Jesus Christ, his baby. How the hell does he know? He just sees a man, a woman, and a baby.
I love how he just took Jesus out of his mother's arms.
And
then she didn't just.
He was probably ready for this meal. I mean, think about this every day of life. You're going, okay, I'm waiting to see him. What do you do all day long? Well, I wait to see him.
It's like Christmas morning. Literally Christmas morning.
Literally. Think about that. There's your gift.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
You know, they talked about in the sermon, we talked about, people getting old and just kind of dwindling away. That sucks to think of it that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We as a society don't value our elderly. We should. They have a hell of a lot to teach us. And they can help us from having a lot of heartache if we just listen. But for some reason, God made us to be at that ornery age of teenagers and early 20s to be so rebellious, and we have to go through this ourselves, and, you know...
Experience is a wonderful teacher.
Isn't hindsight wonderful in 2020? Experience is a wonderful teacher, but you know what else is also important? Learning, taking other people's experiences so we don't have to go through that same pain. Because we don't have to do it.
And even if you don't go through that same story, you've got that story to help others.
Why do you think I'm always... I mean, look, I know I talk, and I love to tell stories, and I love to give advice. That's who I am. I don't know why God gave me that longing, or that, what it is, that's a talent, or whatever it is. Even for some people it's a detriment, I don't know, but...
It's just a weird job.
It's what I've got. And so, you know, naturally, counseling and being a pastor and things like that, that's just something that comes second nature to me. So, when people come to me with a problem, I don't think twice about giving them advice about what I know, or what I mean, there's been times people come to me and throw something at me, and I say,
yeah.
I really don't know. I can't answer that question for you. I'll try and help you find the answer. Let's sit down and try and work it out together, but I haven't experienced that in my life, or I haven't seen that before. So I can't give you an answer on that and be, somewhat secure in my answer. Because if you don't know it, you can't give it away. You don't have it, you can't give it away. That knowledge you don't have, you can't give it away.
Because that's worse than not even helping them at all, is giving them the misinformation, because that's leading them down the path to sin.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Let's help lying, first of all. Let's be truthful here. And a lot of times people look at me crazy when I say that, because here I'm supposed to be
all-knowing,
but I'm not.
In their
I'm
eyes.
not a human being. I'm able to teach up here because of, and I'm only able to teach for what I know, okay, and what I believe, and what God has shown me, okay. As a pastor, that's what I can do. Am I learning every day? Absolutely. Am I learning something new from you every day? Absolutely. That's the fun part of it, is because next year I can tell a little more. It's sad that we have to die, because hopefully by the time we're dead, we know quite a bit, a lot.
But there's so much more that you can learn.
It's constantly
knowledge. It's
a cruel, fun thing.
Oh, it's wonderful though. It's wonderful, and those, we all have different draws to different things, different things we're drawn to. There's a reason that you're drawn to those things. There's a reason that God implanted those seeds of desire, those interests in your body. Think about when you were 3 years old and what you liked. 3 or 5 years old. What were you thinking of? I guarantee you go back then and think about what you had an infatuation about, and it probably has something to do with what your career is, should be, or will be. Because I had an altar in my house. I've talked about that before. I was drawn to, for some reason I thought the clothes were cool. Well, that was neat. A little different now in 110-degree heat when I got to put that thing on, but
when you got to spend the money,
to buy them, yeah, that's that. But they were beautiful to me. I thought they were. I mean, they were just this person was respected, and I admired that. And I think that's what was the beginning of me being drawn into. I'm putting all to sleep. I know. I'm sorry. The beginning of me being drawn into what I do now, and everything kind of culminated in where we are. Am I perfect? No. Do I always do the right thing? No. Do I claim to be? No. Am I always right? Hell no. Do I try? Yes. But people look at me crazy. They'll think, how can you say you're a minister, you're a bishop, and you can't answer this question about the Bible? Well, look here. The Bible is pretty extensive, and there's a lot of translations, and there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts in there. And there's a lot of people that think that,
Well, look at what Tim brought up today. You studied this Bible so much. You knew that passage.
I knew the passage.
You straight up said, I've never known.
I just never really thought about it. We always just come in.
But that's why people ask these crazy questions.
And there can be a question asked about every single sentence in the Bible. Every single sentence in the Bible can be. It also can be translated or interpreted in different ways.
For the amount of stars in the sky is a different way of thinking of it.
So, for me to know every little aspect of the Bible in and out and back and forth, first of all, it's changing all the time. Unfortunately, I wish we still had the original texts.
And
were able to translate it properly and understand it. The people that would translate it.
That would be such a
translate it the best way they. I mean, like I said, there's mistakes. People make mistakes. Sometimes they're on purpose. Sometimes they're on accident.
Yeah.
But they're mistakes. And we have to deal with that and use our brains that God gave us to kind of look in the Bible and go, okay.
Have our own understanding of it.
Okay, this is kind of fitting, but I don't think that's exactly what they meant. We have to be able to do that. We have to be able to do that. If I write a story about John F. Kennedy, a book report on John F. Kennedy, and you write a report on John F. Kennedy, they're going to be totally different probably. They may be talking about the same events, but they're going to be totally different.
Yeah.
Which one's right?
Both, neither.
So again, that's my point here.
Yeah.
You have your own point of view. Use your imagination that God gave you. Use the discerning skills that God gave you. Use the brain that God gave you to know what is right. And if you don't get it, ask. And if you still don't get it, ask.
Yeah.
And listen. New Year. What did I ask y'all to do? What's the resolution I asked y'all to take?
Pray.
So take three days a week.
At least 3 days a week for 10 minutes at a time. So that's 30 minutes a week to pray. And I mean really sitting down, getting in a quiet place, turning everything off, and praying. It will change your life. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And I ask that you pray for me, because I need it. Please pray for Aunt Patsy. I'm worried to death about her. Day after tomorrow, she'll be going through that surgery. She actually made arrangements for me not to be there.
What is this? What are they doing the surgery? Like, what are they doing on specifically?
Her breasts.
Okay.
What it is, they found, okay, she had a lesion on the outside of her breast,
Okay.
which has they've determined to be cancerous. It's skin cancer.
And they've got to
but
make sure
unfortunately,
it has not
this type of
penetrated.
cancer is known to do both. It can also become breast cancer.
Yeah.
So they have to, again, once they get the lesion off, and then they go in and they're going to look and see if there's anything further. And hopefully there's not. I pray there's not.
Well,
Amazing woman. So.
Hopefully, if it does, it's just because they can always take that out.
They can.
And I
look, God's will be done.
But I would personally suggest if it's in that tissue, take all.
Oh, she knows that. She knows that.
The best way.
She has no problem with that. My grandmother had a mastectomy. She did the same thing. They found a lump in her breast, and they were on the table, and they said, it's cancerous. She said, cut it off.
Take it all out.
And she kept one, so she's she's eating her breast.
Because that tissue is very easy to continue.
It is.
That cancer can, just the tiniest little speck can
Cancer is
regrow.
Cancer's a tough one.
It's a horrible
I still think that so many cancer. Y'all people think I'm crazy. I talk about this cancer. I think that
Worried.
when we bottle stuff up,
cancer is a form of evil.
when we bottle stuff up, when we hold on to anger, when we hold on to animosity, when we hold on to fear,
It stores that energy.
and we put that there in our bodies like this, and that stuff sits in there.
Poison.
It festers in your body. What is festering? That's all that nasty pus and green and stuff that comes out of your lungs when you've got the sick, when you've got the flu, right? All that green crap, brown, ugh. It tastes like just crap. That's festering in your body, going through and coursing through your veins. What do you think your body's going to respond to that?
Yeah,
How else can it?
I honestly think that. I really do. I think that if we would learn to let go.
And those types of cancers have been around as long as we have.
And we still can't find a cure.
Of course, unfortunately, now we've got the evil of oil companies in the world. That's soaking into us now.
When you hold on to those negative things, those negative feelings, when you hold on to, and you have to hold on to them because your body will let them go unless you consciously decide to hold on to them. When you hold on to those, you're doing it to yourself. You're putting poison in your own body and letting it fester.
Because you don't realize
You're not hurting the other person that did wrong to you because they're off living their life, having a great old time, riding roller coasters.
they don't forget about you.
You're killing yourself. Stop it. Quit holding on to pain. Quit holding on to hurt. Quit holding on to anger. Quit holding on to anger at yourself.
You don't realize how heavy it is until you forgive it yourself.
When you let that go,
Oh my
this is
God.
the next point. That boy that I had in that mirror, held his face up to that mirror. This is 4 in the morning. I've got him screaming at the mirror, right? I didn't care.
Yeah.
And he cried. And he didn't just cry, he wailed. He let it out. And he stood up. And it was like he was 2 inches taller. His whole demeanor changed. His whole body changed. It was a transformation. It just, those kind of things you don't see very often, that I'm honored to have been a part of. And I don't know why I did it. I would never have thought to do that to somebody, but Jesus.
God.
There's God going, hey, grab this boy and tell him over here and just tell him to do this. And I did it. I didn't question it. It just came to me and said, go do it. And it worked. So if anybody else could have probably gotten punched, you know. Boom! What the hell are you talking about?
Get your hand off me.
Right. So anyway, so God can come into your life if you just open up. See, if you're holding on to those things too, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about those other things. You're not thinking about God. You're not concentrating on your betterment. You're concentrating on all these. You're concentrating on this other person that did this to you, and they deserve this, and they deserve that, and revenge. And let me tell you something: the universe will always equal itself out. You don't have to worry about revenge. Yep. You may not see it, which is what most people really want out of revenge. They want to see it, right?
Right.
It will happen.
When you can accept that it will happen, you can
let it go.
You can finally sit back and just say, I know it's going to happen.
There's an old saying. Aunt Patsy says it all the time. She's got it on her wall in her condo. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Who else are you going to trust?
I never understood that until right now.
Who else are you going to trust? Because you can't trust yourself all the time. You can't trust each other all the time. Because we're human. Let go and let God. Let go. Stand up 2 inches taller. Anything else, guys? 8 o'clock tonight. We'll have the little party to bring in the new year.
Door gets locked at 11.
Door gets 11.
You ain't
may
leaving.
not leave until sunrise.
We may not let you
There's not going to be a lot of alcohol, drinking, and all that partying and whooping and all that. It's going to be nice and quiet. We're just going to hang out. So it's an alternative to being on the streets, and it's cold weather. You really don't want to be out there anyway. Let me pay the bill for the night.
And we can actually make some noise tonight because other people.
A little bit of noise, okay? We will have a small champagne toast at midnight, okay? My treat, kind of. But I do ask for a $10 donation at the door. Look, guys, this helps us defer some of the costs. I mean, I actually, you know how warm we're going to have to keep, how we're just going to be able to keep this place warm tonight.
That alone.
We're going to have space heaters going tonight, I can guarantee you.
It's too bad we can't use the fireplace.
We can.
Well, moving stuff and tedious.
We can move the fireplace. We can use the fireplace.
We can.
All you got to do is go get some wood. I bet you can't find any wood in the city right now.
Yeah.
Well. 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year.
Gentlemen.
Happy New Year. Before you take a sip. We're going to practice something. Right? Let's pray. Father in heaven, as the seconds have turned over to another year, we're grateful to you for each breath that we take, for each second that we are alive, and for each new year that we are honored to have been a part of. It is with great pleasure we are here with friends and congregants, and we thank you for giving us a friendship. We thank you for giving us safety from the cold tonight. We pray that you watch over those who do not have the warmth and comfort that we share here. And we ask that this year be filled with peace and love and kindness, and that we all learn to be better men and women for others. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Amen.
I